At a garden party under pale September sun, Emma Carter stopped breathing for 3 full seconds inside a wicker raffle basket. Among gift cards and scented candles lay her late mother's ring.
That's my mother's ring. What is it doing here?
Oh, that old thing? Just costume junk I found in a drawer. Perfect for the raffle, don't you think?
She went through my jewelry box. She gave away the last piece of my mother.
Emma's hand trembled as it moved to her bare ring finger. She forced her face into a polite mask.
Darling, you are not going to make a scene over a piece of tin, are you? It's all in good fun.
Not a scene, not now, but that ring isn't staying in a raffle basket.
Barbara turned back to her guests, laughter rising. The raffle MC stepped up to the microphone. The ring sat in the basket, its gold catching the light, a promise Emma intended to keep. Emma drew a slow breath, then walked toward Barbara, negotiating fury and fear with every step.
Barbara, that ring in the raffle basket. It's my mother's. Please take it out before the drawing.
Oh, sweetheart, it's just old costume jewelry. No one will notice. Don't be dramatic.
She's lying. She knows it's real. She wanted to humiliate me. This whole party is a performance.
Smile for the guests. Emma, don't ruin my party over trinkets.
The words pinned Emma where she stood. Behind her, the MC tapped the microphone, testing the sound.
Thomas is over there, laughing. He never sees what she is. I am alone in this.
The MC's voice cut through the chatter. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for. Our raffle drawing. Emma's fingers curled into her palm. She stepped back, her face sculpted into a pleasant mask.
Let them draw. I'll find someone who knows. Barbara invited a jeweler. If anyone can see the truth, he will.
The MC reached into the glass bowl and pulled out a folded ticket, and the winner is Beatrice Wells, a silver-haired woman in a lavender cardigan, made her way to the front, beaming at the applause.
Oh, how delightful. I never win anything.
Beatrice opened the gift bag and pulled out the ring. Her smile flickered as she examined the dark red stone.
It's quite unusual, almost vintage.
Emma watched from across the lawn, her heart pounding. The ring was out of her reach, in a stranger's hands. Then she saw him. Julian Cross, the estate jeweler Barbara had bragged about inviting. He was inspecting a brooch under a loupe near the display table.
If anyone can prove that ring isn't junk, he can. Mr. Cross, may I have a word? It's about a piece of jewelry.
Of course. I am happy to help after the formalities. Catch me before I leave. After the raffle, Emma found Beatrice sipping lemonade near the rose trellis. She asked for a quiet word.
Beatrice, that ring you won, it belonged to my late mother. It was given away without my knowledge.
Oh, the poor dear. It's yours, of course. I was merely the accidental keeper.
I can't take it back yet. There's a jeweler here, Mr. Cross. Please, let him examine it first.
Beatrice placed the ring gently in Emma's hand, and together they approached Julian's table. Julian looked up, his eyes landing on the ring. He reached for it without a word. May I examine this? Julian cradled the ring under the lamp, turning it with practiced fingers. His breath caught when he saw the inscription, EM 1902. This is not costume. It's a fine early 20th century piece, wonderfully preserved. Trust me, Mrs. Carter. I'll find the right moment to tell this party exactly what that ring is. After Julian's promise, Emma returned to the party, her heart a metronome of hope and dread.
Just a little longer. He'll do it when the time is right.
Across the lawn, Barbara held court by the champagne table, her voice carrying like a bell.
Are these not the finest pearls you've ever seen? Vintage Mikimoto, of course.
Emma slipped over to Thomas, who was laughing with an old school friend. She touched his arm.
Thomas, I need to talk to you about the ring. Your mother gave away my mother's ring.
Not now, Em. It's just a ring. Let it go. We can deal with it later.
He doesn't understand. He never does.
Emma turned away and saw Beatrice across the lawn, absently twisting the ring on her finger. The sight sent a jolt through her. Barbara clapped her hands, summoning the crowd. Everyone, gather round. Julian Cross has kindly agreed to appraise my collection. The guests turned toward Barbara's display table, where her jewelry glittered under a small velvet canopy.
Julian, dear, start with my grandmother's diamond brooch, an insurance policy all on its own.
Exquisite piece, Barbara. Early Art Deco, platinum setting. You've a keen eye. As Julian set down the brooch, his gaze drifted past Barbara's opulent pieces to the small crowd beyond. I heard mention of a raffle prize today, a ring, I believe. Might I see it? Curiosity, you understand?
That little thing? Oh, just a bit of costume jewelry. Hardly worth your time, Julian.
Beatrice stepped forward, her face kind. She slipped the ring off her finger and held it out.
It's no bother. I'd be curious myself what such an expert makes of it.
Julian received the ring as though it were made of glass. The garden fell silent, all eyes on his hands. Now, this is something entirely different. Let me have a closer look. Julian angled the ring beneath the portable lamp, his loupe catching the fine engraving inside the band. There's a hallmark here, and initials, EM 1902. May I ask whose these are?
My mother's, Eleanor Mason. She passed 8 years ago.
A ripple of recognition moved through the guests. Barbara's smile tightened into a thin line. This is not costume jewelry. It's a fine early 20th century piece. Gold with a genuine ruby.
Julian, you are mistaken. It's just a trinket from a second-hand shop. I found it in a drawer.
With respect, I've handled thousands of pieces. This has the weight, cut, and craftsmanship of something older. Thomas stepped closer, his expression shifting from boredom to something sharper. Concern, maybe, or dawning realization.
He's finally paying attention, but it's not enough yet.
The crowd buzzed. Barbara's cheeks flushed. Julian held the ring up like a verdict not yet fully read.
Sentiment. Julian, that's all it is. Just because it's old doesn't make it precious.
Actually, a similar piece. Same period, same maker's marks. Sold at Sotheby's 2 years ago. The auction house described it as quite rare. The garden fell so quiet that a dropped teaspoon would have sounded like thunder.
Julian, what exactly are you saying? What kind of value are we talking about?
More than your mother's entire collection, I am afraid. But I'd rather not discuss figures before I am certain.
This is absurd. You can't seriously suggest that piece of junk is worth anything.
Mother. Did you know this ring belonged to Emma's mother? Did you know before you put it in that raffle?
I was tidying up, Thomas. I didn't realize.
You didn't realize, or you didn't care.
Emma watched her husband take a stand she'd waited years to see. The ring glinted in Julian's hand, still waiting for its true story to be told. The guests pressed closer, a tight circle of silk and expectation. Someone whispered for Julian to name his price. I'll need a moment to be precise, but based on the hallmark and the gem, I believe.
This is inappropriate. You were invited to appraise my collection, not conduct a circus.
Let him finish, Mother. The guests are curious. I am curious.
Barbara's mouth clamped shut. The authority in Thomas's voice left no room for argument.
He's choosing our side after all these years.
Thank you. Now, to answer your question, the garden held its breath. Even the late bees stopped their drone. Ladies and gentlemen, at auction, a comparable piece would fetch. He paused, letting the silence stretch. Every face in that garden understood. This number would change everything. $50,000. That's a conservative estimate for a gold and ruby ring of this era. Gasps rose like a flock of startled starlings. A champagne glass shattered on the flagstones, but no one looked away. Julian returned the ring to Beatrice, who held it in her open palm as if it were a live coal. Barbara Carter's face drained to flower white. She lurched backward, colliding with the two women behind her. There now, Barbara, one murmured, patting her arm. Barbara didn't seem to hear. Her diamond ring caught the light. Emma pressed her knuckles to her lips, tears brimming but refusing to fall. Thomas's jaw locked. His gaze swung from the ring to his mother, and something cold settled there. Neighbors exchanged knowing glances, some scandalized, some pitying, all utterly riveted.
All her lies crumbling to dust. My mother's ring was priceless, and everyone knew it now.
The ring rested in Beatrice's trembling hand, a secret outlasted, a truth Barbara could never bury. Beatrice stared at the ring in her palm, then raised her eyes to find Emma across the silent lawn.
This ring never should have been mine. It was your mother's, and it belongs with you.
She placed the ring into Emma's hand, her wrinkled fingers closing over Emma's own for a heartbeat. Emma's fingers curled around the ring, and a tear traced a slow line down her cheek. Relief, not sorrow.
Thank you. You've given me back more than a ring. You've given me back my mother.
The guests exhaled as one, a sound of awe, of scandal, of scandal, of something they'd retell for years. Barbara stood apart, her china pail face a mask of frozen fury, her hands gripping her purse until the knuckles bleached. Thomas watched his mother for a long moment, then turned his back on her and walked to Emma's side. He closed his hand over hers, the ring between their palms, and no words were needed. The ring was back where it belonged, but the silence promised that its story was not yet finished. Thomas released Emma's hand and stepped into the center of the lawn, turning to face his mother.
You went into our home, into her jewelry box. You called it junk and handed it out like candy.
I was tidying up. That house is a clutter. I was doing her a favor.
You never asked. You never checked. You saw something you didn't value and decided to get rid of it.
He's saying what I couldn't. He's finally seeing her.
It wasn't yours to touch, let alone to give away. Not then, not now, not ever.
A few guests nodded. Barbara's two friends inched away, leaving her stranded in a polite, devastating circle.
You are all turning against me over a piece of metal. This is absurd.
No, Mother. They're turning against a lie. And I am asking you, in front of everyone, how you could do this to my wife.
The question hung in the air, unanswered. Barbara's mouth opened and closed, but nothing came out.
Emma, you always resented me. You staged this whole scene just to humiliate me.
The accusation was weak, desperate, and every guest in that garden could smell it.
Enough. This isn't about resentment. It's about what you did. Apologize. Now.
The single word hung like a guillotine. Barbara's face contorted, caught between fury and collapse. The garden fell utterly silent. Even the bees seemed to stop their humming.
This is a misunderstanding. You are all overreacting.
In front of these same guests you performed for, you will apologize to my wife.
This is the man I married, finally seeing clearly. I never thought I'd hear those words.
Barbara's gaze darted around the garden, searching for an ally, and found only stony faces. The ultimatum lay between them, a bridge Barbara would have to cross, and every guest knew it. The silence stretched thin until Barbara's shoulders sagged almost imperceptibly.
I am sorry if you were upset. It was never my intention to cause harm.
The words came out flat, polished to avoid blame. No one in the garden mistook them for genuine.
I hear your apology, Barbara.
It was not forgiveness, only acknowledgement. The distinction settled over the party like frost. Barbara's mouth tightened, but she said nothing more. The social execution was complete. Out of the corner of her eye, Emma saw Julian Cross step away from the shadows with his loop still in hand. "Mrs. Carter, may I see the ring one more time? There's a mark I didn't finish naturally. Louis Clos."
A mark? What else could be hidden in something I've known my whole life?
She surrendered the ring to his open palm, and the second secret, the one no one had ever seen, stirred beneath the quiet of the garden. Julian carried the ring toward a small conservatory at the edge of the garden, Thomas and Emma following closely. Julian placed the ring on a black velvet cloth beneath the magnifying lamp. Julian adjusted the loop and bent close, his breath fogging the glass. "This metal is uneven here. The surface has been deliberately altered." He angled the ring sideways under the magnifier, and the ghost of a word emerged, deliberately worn thin. "There's a second inscription, almost polished away. Your mother left more than her initials."
I never knew. What does it say?
Thomas stepped closer, his hand finding Emma's shoulder. "It will take a steady hand to read it fully, The intent was secrecy. The air in the conservatory thickened. Emma held her breath, and a word from another lifetime hovered just beyond reach. Julian leaned close, and in a whisper, spoke the words her mother had hidden for decades. Emma's face crumpled, then reshaped into awe, grief giving way to something luminous.
Thomas, I want them to hear it. All of them, the ones who saw me humiliated. They need to know what she left me.
It's your choice. If you're sure, let him tell them.
I'm sure. My mother put this here for this moment. Let her voice be heard.
Julian adjusted his glasses, his expression a rare blend of professionalism and human tenderness. When you're ready, I'll share it. These words were never meant to stay hidden. Emma turned toward the conservatory glass. Beyond, string lights glowed, and a dozen guests still lingered. She clutched the ring to her heart, then nodded. The decision was made. The door opened, and cool air rushed in, carrying Jasmine, and the murmur of waiting voices. The small group emerged from the conservatory into the deepening dusk. Julian led, the ring cradled in his palm, its ruby catching the first glints of the string lights. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may, there is one more thing you need to hear. The remaining guests, their voices low with speculation, turned back toward the conservatory door. Even Barbara, still fuming near the champagne table, snapped to attention, her eyes narrowing.
This is absurd. The party is over. There is nothing more to discuss.
Not until we hear what he has to say. Sit down, Mother, now.
Thomas stepped forward, his arm barring her advance. His look was so cold it could have frozen the champagne in the flutes. This ring holds a second engraving, hidden for decades, a message Emma never knew existed. Her mother left it for this exact moment.
This is the moment my mother reaches across time. Speak it, Julian. Let her words finish what she started.
Julian angled the ring toward the nearest string light. The faint letters shimmered like ghostly script, worn thin by time and intention. He steadied his hand and began to read. It says here, for the daughter who'll need courage. The garden fell utterly silent. Even the wind held its breath. Emma exhaled a sound that was half sob, half laugh. Tears spilled freely down her cheeks.
You are not alone anymore.
Oh, the dear girl. Her mother must have been a remarkable woman.
This ring was never just a piece of jewelry. It was a letter, delivered 2 decades late. The message reframed everything. A mother's foresight, a daughter's trial, and a gift of courage that outlived cruelty.
My mother knew I'd face this. She armed me.
Barbara stood motionless at the edge, her scheme reduced to a footnote in a story far larger than her spite. Thomas held Emma close, the ring on her finger catching the last light of dusk, its hidden message, now a banner for all to see. Emma looked down at the ring on her finger. It felt like it had always belonged there.
She left you the words you needed exactly when you needed them. What a gift she gave you.
Are you really okay?
I am okay, Thomas. I really am. She knew I'd need this.
The sun dipped below the hedgerow, its final rays illuminating the ring like a blessing. For the daughter who will need courage. The words were now a part of her, carved into gold and memory. Beatrice pulled Emma into a gentle embrace, her lavender cardigan smelling of lavender and kindness.
Thank you for staying. I think we've all witnessed something extraordinary tonight.
The ruby seemed to pulse with its own inner fire. A promise kept across the years. Emma closed her eyes, and for the first time since Barbara's cruel laughter, she felt her mother's hand in hers. Thomas turned to where his mother still stood, a lone figure at the edge of the lawn. The remaining guests watched in silence.
One more thing, Mother. Before you leave, I want you to say it. Whose ring is it?
Barbara's lips moved soundlessly. Her eyes flicked to Emma, then to the ring, then to the ring, then to the ground.
It was your mother's.
The words were a whisper, but they cut through the evening like a final confession.
Not a victory, just the truth finally set free.
Emma met Barbara's eyes and nodded once. No gloating, only a quiet acknowledgement.
Thank you, Mother. That's all we needed.
Barbara turned and shuffled toward the garden gate, her shoulders bowed under the weight of defeat. On the grass where she had stood, her wide-brimmed hat lay forgotten. a pale symbol of her fall. The guests began to disperse in twos and threes, their murmurs a soft hum of disbelief and wonder. Emma and Thomas stood near the rose trellis, his arm around her shoulders, both watching the departure. The wide-brimmed hat lay alone on the grass, its ribbons stirring slightly in the evening breeze. Julian Cross packed his loop into a leather case, then nodded once to Emma from across the lawn before disappearing into the night. Beatrice paused at the gate, turned, and pressed her hand to her heart. Emma raised her new ringed hand in reply. Then it was just the two of them, the fairy lights flickering above like a constellation of tiny stars.
I am sorry it took me so long to see.
You are here now. That's what matters.
They turned and walked slowly toward the house, his hand covering hers, the ring a warm, constant pressure between them. The hat remained, a pale ghost on the grass, but the story had already moved on. In the quiet of the empty garden, Emma sat alone on the porch step. She turned her hand over, watching the ring gleam in the last light. She slipped the ring off her finger, just for a moment, and tilted it to catch the dying sun. The hidden engraving shimmered faintly. For the daughter who'll need courage.
She saw everything, my mother. She prepared me for this very battle.
She slid the ring back on, and it settled, as if it had been forged for this exact moment, this exact hand. In the distance, a single bird called. Then the garden fell into the hush of approaching night.
I am not alone. I never was.
The camera lingered on the ring. The ruby, a mute sentinel of the message no cruelty could erase. The screen slowly dimmed, leaving only the faint shimmer of the hidden words, a gift from a mother to a daughter, and then darkness, but not the kind that frightens, the kind that holds a promise.